r/AskReddit. The Thorium 55 says, "What's your most traumatic poop story?" Slurps says, "Ibs and endometriosis. Pain 8/10 and diarrhea. I held a bucket where I threw up because of the pain while shitting my intestines out. Passed out from the pain, had also SHT myself. Coming back to reality was strange and disgusting. Threw up again. I thank Lord every day for allowing this to happen at home when I was living alone." The Thorium 55 says, "Jesus." This _maybe 3139 says, "All this happened while you lived alone. No help at all, just diarrhea, vomit and bravery." Actionty says, "I have epilepsy and years ago, when they were trying to properly diagnose it, I had to spend a week in the hospital off my meds with a bunch of stickers on my head. The idea was that I purposely have a seizure and the stickers on my head will show where the problem is, since I could have a seizure at any moment. There was a camera on me 24/7. Except when I went to the bathroom. In that case there was a person on the other side of door just in case I have a seizure. Well, try taking a proper poop when there is someone on the other side of the door banging on it every 30 seconds asking if I was okay." The Thorium 55 says, "I get annoyed if someone is within 20 feet of the bathroom when I poop. That sounds miserable." No _objections _ here says, "My poop story is also seizure related. When I was younger, I used to have very infrequent grand mal seizures, maybe once every year. It wasn't enough to make going on medication worth it, but it was very inconvenient, all the same. Despite all the time I spent getting all sorts of tests, we never figured why I had them. Anyway, when I was about 22 or 23, I met someone at a bar who was only in town for the weekend. He was a friend of a friend, and we ended up really hitting it off. I decided to head back to his hotel for a one-night stand hookup. After doing the deed, he crashed out, but since I still smoked at that time, I decided to head downstairs for a post-sex smoke. On the way back up the stairs, he was only on the 3nd floor. I started to feel a seizure coming on. Instead of trying to fight it and risk falling down the stairs, I lay down on a stair landing and had the seizure. After I came to again, I dragged myself back to the hotel room and passed out in bed. When I woke up, I sort of realized there was a weird texture on the bed. At first, I thought I might have gotten my period, but unfortunately, that was not the case. It was poo. The seizure must have loosened up my sphincter or something, because I had pooped the bed for the first time in my adult life. And there was a sexy man still asleep on the same bed next to me. I lay awake for ages, mortified, trying to figure out what to do. Eventually, I came up with a plan. There was an opened can of Coke on the nightstand that we had been drinking the night prior. I accidentally knocked the can of Coke onto the bed so that it got everywhere and made a very big deal out of it. I shouted, "Oh, frick, I spilled Coke on the bed, get up, quickly." When my date jumped out of bed in a dazed and half asleep, hungover state, I quickly pulled all the sheets/bedding off of the bed in a bundle, hiding my dirty secret in its depths. I brought the sheets into the bathroom, took a quick shower, and then ran the sheets down to the front desk, giving them a $100 tip for the cleaners. Then, I very quickly made my excuses to my flustered but oblivious date, and rushed off into the day, having gotten away with potentially what would have been my most embarrassing adult. I can't but the Reforail says, "This is kind of sad. I remember being very little, maybe 3 or 4, and going with my mum to visit her friend at a house I wasn't familiar with. I wanted to go to the toilet and told her, so she said, "Okay, off you go." She was very engrossed in conversation and didn't seem to understand that I wanted her to take me to the toilet. So I wandered the house for a while, not being able to find the toilet, too shy to go and ask for help. I eventually crapped my pants and took off my underwear and left them in the hall, then had to go tell my mum. I remember her being annoyed, asking me why didn't you just go to the toilet? As she threw my underwear in the bin, and me not being able to explain. Fossilhog says, on a volcano, no TP. In a desert, no TP. On the frozen Arctic Ocean, no TP. You think I would have learned? Pitoff Bissell says, I wouldn't say it's traumatic, but it's definitely notable. I once pooped so hard I pushed my contraceptive coil out. Coast says, I'm an American on business in Shanghai. I'm brave, eating locally and trying all the street dumpling stands. It didn't take long for this to catch up with me. Walking to dinner with a colleague, taking the scenic route, when it hits. It's urgent. I'm sweating. I'm looking around frantically for options. When I spot a hospital, I run in, past the lobby and right to the toilets. To my horror, no toilet. Just a squatting hole in the ground. I can't. I'm not ready for this. I leave in defeat, still sweating. We rush to the restaurant. I head straight to the back. There's a toilet, but no door. I'm past the point of humility and sit in peace. r/AskReddit. I didn't find it says. What fictional world would you have loved to visit as a child, but would drive you crazy now as an adult? No Dumont says. Candyland. Too much dental work. Kenba 2099 says. Marvel's Nick. Sure, at first it's all EA superheroes and whatnot, but after your apartment gets trashed by Magneto or Drive. Doom's latest plan for the 1000th time, it gets old. Plus imagine the insurance premiums. Stack_of_high society says. The Smurfs. That village would cause a psychotic break inside of a month. Casker_and_ed says. Pockman. Everything would be so cute. Copperpin says. Any fantasy world that doesn't have sewers and trash collection. The authors of these books always leave out the part of the description where everything smells of shit all the time. Slap Shrapnel says. When I was a kid, a 16-year-old entrusted with saving the world was cool. As an adult, it's terrifying. Lesleekna PC says. Maybe his audition. Da_Duta says. Oh from Adventure Time. Honestly, how the hell do candy become undead? But I'm a huge fan of the show, lol. Slightly_Smorg says. We all wanted to be adults as kids. No one to tell us what to do, staying up late, ice cream for dinner. A fictional world we dreamed of. Yeah, now adult life is exhausting, and ice cream makes me sick now. And my back constantly, frick, I'm hurts. Huano says. The world of Harry Potter. Ujachungus2112 says. Bulgaria. Peanut_Tostito says. The never-ending story. Oh, the drama. Byzantini says. Mayberry. I have 3N says. Fricking Harry Potter. What kind of shit government is the Wizards? Puck Monkey says. Narnia. BMBMWMFM2 says. As a kid. Wonderland. Talking animals. As an adult. WTF was I thinking? Darth Byzantius says. Blues Clues. DJDKKSMS says. Discworld. Cryptlord says. Xanth. Wedgig says. The Godzilla universe. It was all cute during the shower era, but now, frick that. Don Thurtenbazach says. Dragon Ball Z World. So you're telling me I saved up all this money, busted my ass working, and restrained myself from ever hitting someone when I get mad? Only to, frick, I'm find out some pink, frick, decided oh hey I'm going to, Frick, shit up and destroy the world for fun. Not only that, but some blonde piece of shit has had multiple opportunities to save the world from a nightmare, but chose not to because he wanted his dumbass kids to win against the monster instead of him. Jens_2001 says, Duck bruh. Throwdown Inktown says, a Barrett. Anatha Orphan says, by fictional do you mean like Disneyland? Whole Wheat Scythe says, D&D, but in hindsight you'd be living without modern conveniences, and most of these worlds aren't really functional in an economic way. Our town is concerned, because a dragon lives nearby. Can you defeat it for us? Why hasn't it destroyed the town already? What is it surviving on? And how is this place surviving? We are in the middle of nowhere, and there's no farms nearby. Of course, even if there were farms, the dragon would have eaten the farmers. Actually, why are you all still here? Are you going to help us or not? Per_Mickelson says, Narnia. It seemed pretty exciting to visit a magical realm filled with talking animals and strange creatures when I was young. I thought it would be amazing to fight alongside dwarves and to set out on quests and defeat evil kings and sorceresses and to rescue ancient end princes and to set sail on the high seas and do battle with monsters, to journey into the bowels of the earth, to meet giants and marsh wiggles and trolls, and to be a hero. But as an adult I realize that I would be bored shitless in Narnia. All of the characters who ever actually enjoyed themselves or did anything even remotely fun that didn't involve killing in the name of Aslan were the bad guys. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.